Hi, Martha Reed from the Office of Multicultural Services and Programs at Indiana State University. Today I'd like to talk to you a little bit about intuition. We talk about intuition and how, we follow our gut and how that seems to lead us a lot of different places. But right now, a lot of us are out of tune with ourselves because we're facing times that we've never have been a part of before. We have students like myself, we're now working online. We have, like myself again, working at home, and it's difficult to try to stay focused and realize that you're still part of the big outside world, even when you're so disconnected, except through Zoom and Skype or whatever program that you've been using to stay connected with others. But I want to talk a little bit about in emotional intelligence, which is, I'm going to make it really simple, just being smart about your emotions. That first emotion that we deal with is self awareness. How do you keep your self awareness when you don't have a lot of people around to talk to? You trying to get through this whole new face that the world's facing, the whole world. You feel a little overwhelmed sometimes, and everything, that little inner voice begins to talk to you. Now, the first time I heard about um, the id was in psychology class in undergrad, and it was amazing that I thought, oh, I can now call that inner voice that's always feeding me negativity a name. So Freud shows up, with his brilliant part. But right now, a lot of negativity comes through because you're trying to do things that you've never done before. You're trying to keep focused, trying to keep a straight path, but it's not easy doing that. So, how do you stay in tune? How do you keep that tune up going? Because even myself, that I teach emotional intelligence, I have struggled with it my own self, that being self aware of my own emotions. Because the first thing that we need to really look at is compassion, and it's called self compassion. To look at the compassion for ourselves because we don't think about that. We have all this compassion for the world and everything that we see going on, but we don't have self compassion or self care that we need to do. Yes, for I. I don't like to use that word I very often, but in this situation, if you're not in tune with yourself and you're listening to all the negativity that's flowing through, then you can't keep going down a straight road and be happy because a lot of people are facing, they're unhappy now, they can't get out with their friends. I know it's called social distancing, but I like to look at it as physical distancing because we're still socially speaking, even if it is online or through windows or however else people are doing these marvelous things to get across to let people know they still care. So I'm going to give you a few little tips and advice that help me. I really think a lot of Jack Canfield from, if you know of the books about Chicken Soup for the Soul. Jack Canfield encourages people to work with their appreciation muscle. Because how many times do you ever really appreciate you? We don't do it very often. There again, self compassion. Take a little bit of time, and I know, especially if you're a student or you're working from home and everything's still coming, but take a time, even if you just take a few minutes to sit down and write about every morning when you have time, talk about, write about the things you appreciate about your life. Now, I know right now it's like, what, Martha, what's there to appreciate about? Listen, there's a lot to be appreciative about. There really is. You're still getting your education, you're still working, you're still having that fulfillment of being able to connect with people online. So don't be so hard on yourself. What do you appreciate about you and your life? and the contributions that you're still giving. You can still get on Facebook, you can get on Twitter. I like to call it Twitter, I know it's Twitter, and just tell people how much you appreciate them as well. Because in that telling of other people how much you appreciate them, care for them, love them, you are making your own appreciation muscle stronger. And you think, what? But why do we wait until someone retires to tell them what a great job they're doing? Or, you have been one of my best friends. You know exactly what to say. You know when to send that text in the middle of the night. Don't hesitate to reach out to other people and tell them how much they mean to you. You all mean a lot to me. Many of you know I'm going through hug withdrawal right now because everyone knows they see Mama Martha coming, as they call me at Indiana State. I want a hug. And now it's like, oh my gosh, virtual hug, here I come. But the second thing that I would like to ask you to think about doing is to just not listen to all that negativity. Oh, I'm not going to make it through this online class. Oh, how am I going to get all this work done online? And oh, I only have X amount of internet at home. Don't listen to the negativity coming through. Listen to the positive. Oh, yeah, it's a lot harder to listen to the positive side of you because of what? Because the brain is wired to be negative. But I'm telling you, try to listen to the positive. And let me tell you, I have had to work at it so hard the last few weeks. Paul, my husband's still going to work every day because he's essential to his job. So Timmy, we have our dog that rescued us, has listened to a lot of conversations from me. And I think sometimes he understands me when I talk to him. But don't sit in waller in self-pity. I can't do this. I can't do that. Because you know what? You can do it. You can complete this task because you know what? You're strong. You are a warrior. And yes, as I've heard this said many times now, we're in a war with this virus that's going on. But don't let it consume you so much that you cannot find the kindness in your heart and then awareness for yourself. Because, like I said before, that awareness is going to help other people when you think about your self awareness. So it's really hard because I'm so used to talking to people in person and getting some kind of gauge. And I kind of, oh, I'm going to shift because I go, oh no, here comes the old lady into the classroom. What is she going to say to me? What has she got? What is she going to tell me? And the last students will go, but Martha, how did you know how we were thinking? Ah, a little bit of wisdom there. But just take a few minutes every day and appreciate yourself. There are so many things, if you think about them in life right now, to appreciate. The nice warm bed. Did you go to sleep in every night? The friends that are still reaching out to you no matter how they're doing it. Like I said, there's so many apps today, I can't even keep up with them. But I try because someone will say, oh, get on WhatsApp or let's tweet or Instagram or, I'm an old Facebooker. So, Facebook is my go to. But reach out and let people know. And if you're struggling, there is nothing wrong to call someone and ask for help. There is not. Or talk to a friend. You are thinking about you. Now, I work with a lot of different cultures and backgrounds in my office. So sometimes you have to remember not everyone's going to think like you do, and not everybody's going to have that same emotional self awareness background like you have. I have my one friend, um, Alia. It's a hug and two hugs on the other side. And now people, they don't want you to handshake anymore, so you have to be careful with that. Some people don't like to be hugged, and that's been the hardest thing for me, was not to be. able to hug someone. But this is the time to reach out and talk with other people. Tell them how much you appreciate them. I'm going to give a shout out to my friend Tredera McLaurin. She's executive director at the Career Center. Dear friend of mine. If it hadn't been for her, I wouldn't be doing this video for you today on a tiny bit of emotional intelligence, because she encouraged me to pick it back up and say, but what about your emotional intelligence? And here I am today talking a little bit about it. I have so many people at Indiana State University that I care about and I think the world of. I got this nickname, Mom Martha, because of a lot of the students that I work with and people, because I care about other people. But sometimes I forget about caring the self care of myself. And each one of us needs to do that. You're probably one of those people that everybody comes to your office, everybody comes to talk to you, and you listen. You listen patiently to them. And that's my goal, is I'm going to listen, because a lot of times that's all people really need, is for someone to listen. But in this case, you need to listen to you and your heart for that self-compassion and self-care. Now, I'll be glad to listen to you and talk with you. I wish that I could give my whole emotional intelligence spiel, but it would take a little bit of time. But remember, first step in emotional intelligence, being smart about your emotions, is self-awareness. Because if you aren't aware of your emotions and how you're going to respond to people or even yourself, then here is where we've got some work to do. That's one of the things, and my goal in life is I wish everybody could be self-aware, happy, empathetic, but it takes work and you spend your whole life doing it. Nobody's born with it. And I'm still, after a few days of my life, am still working toward that goal of self-awareness. So if you have questions or you'd like to reach out to me, please don't hesitate to do so. I'm not sure when I'll be back in my home office at Indiana State, but you can reach me at Martha, MARTHA .reed, REED, at indstate.edu. And I wish you the best. It's not going to be easy, what we're going through and what we're seeing and what other people are going through, but you can make the world a little bit better just by texting, calling. But then don't forget about you in all this, because you make the world go round. I know, kind of a pun there, wasn't it? But anyway, take care. And I just really hope that when we're all done with this, the world can be a little bit better, a little bit closer, a little bit more caring, a lot more kinder, because of what we're going through right now. I see a lot of it, but we'll get there. As I hear on the news every day, we are in this, all in this together. And it's not just the United States, it's all the cultures and everyone around the world, because this disease, this virus, knows no culture. But we can help make it a better place, even for ourselves. Remember, appreciation muscle. Appreciate what you have, who you are, what you're going to become, and we'll go from there. Take care. Bye for now.